Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I am Neil Winteregg with Matterhorn Business Development, and today we are here to talk about the 4 things that you have to be willing to do when starting a business from scratch. Now, don't worry, because if you already have a business and maybe it's not going so good or you're struggling, you're still going to learn a lot here because you're probably not doing these 4 things and hence you are struggling. So you have a business idea and you sit up late at night and you plan it out and you've got Microsoft Excel spreadsheets and you're figuring out if I can do this many times and I have this much profit and I can make this, I can make a whole bunch of money, and if I structure it this way, and you've got everything all planned out and then you put it into action. And sometimes what you will find is that the way you had it planned out versus what actually ends up happening aren't necessarily the same thing. So the first thing that you have to be willing to do is you have to be willing to learn. And when you're willing to learn, you have to sit there and find out what's actually happening with your idea when it's in use. Because again, you're gonna have these great ideas, but then you're gonna start to implement them and you're gonna start talking to customers and you're gonna find out that maybe customers don't wanna do it that way. I have run into this in my own businesses. I have this idea and I think, well, if I can just get 20 clients to do it like this, then my overhead is only this and I only need to make this much money. And you're like, oh wow, this is amazing. But then you go out and you find out that people don't want to do it that way. The norm is maybe a different way, and everybody has the idea that the way that that idea operates is going to be different from what you have, and you're going to realize that it's very hard to sell your product the way that it is. And so you have to be willing to learn what it is that people need and want, and you have to be willing to learn what it is that you need to do to make it work, because your idea on paper is going to be amazing, but when you go out and you start to implement it, you have to learn what it actually takes, because realistically, what you want to do and what you end up doing are going to be 2 different things, which leads me to my next willingness, which is the willingness to make mistakes. I have worked with so many business owners who were unwilling to admit or unwilling to take responsibility for the fact that they messed up. They made problems bigger than they should have been. The way they were doing things made problems, made issues, and they were unwilling to accept that that was their fault. And you have to be willing to sit there and go, you know what? This idea, not gonna work. We need to scrap 50% of this and do it a completely different way now, because you did make those mistakes and you were willing to learn from those mistakes. And that brings us to number 3, which is being willing to change. So if we think about this, we're willing to learn, we're willing to acknowledge that we've made mistakes. Now comes that change of how do we actually implement the new idea. So I've just scrapped 50% of my amazing business idea that was my dream, and I realized, okay, that's not gonna work. So now I have to actually be willing to change what I used to do and learn a new way of doing it that actually works and put that into place. This is the area where most business owners fail, is we love our idea so much, we don't want to let it go. And we don't want to accept the fact that our customers, our business advisors, our family were right when they said it's not going to work that way. We go, no, I'm going to make it work. I'm going to make it work. And we keep sitting there and grinding it out and not getting anywhere. You have to be willing to change your approach and change your systems, change your employees. Maybe it means you have to fire your best friend, but you know what? They're not working out for you in business. These are the tough decisions that happen that come from all of this. But if you're willing to change, you can then actually implement what it is that you've learned. Because if you learn something and you find that thing to be really valuable, it should be very easy for you to say, you know what? We're gonna do it a different way now. You should not hold on to old information or old ideas or old things. You can't get stuck with the original vision that you had. You have to change your approach and change your vision into what it is that you now know so that it can now work. And the 4th thing is you have to be willing to push through the idea of quitting. This is a big step, and you will probably go through the wanting to quit several times a week, if not daily. And it is one of those things that as you start to get more things into place, more and more successes start to come. And now instead of wanting to quit daily, you just want to quit once a month. But that's an improvement, right? These are the things that you go through in the beginning. And what I'll tell you is you're going to get through that, like, I want to give up, and is this really worth it? And am I wasting my time? And what you're going to find is that you're going to start these 4 things over again. So you're going to push through, you're no longer going to want to quit, and then you have to be willing to learn again. and you have to be willing to be wrong and make mistakes, and then you have to be willing to change, and then you got to push through again and get through this idea that you should quit. It almost just keeps going until you get the base fundamentals down of what it is that your business actually is. I have one of my businesses, and me and my partners went into it and we had this grand vision, and it made so much sense, and it was all like, oh, this is gonna be easy, this is gonna be great, we're gonna have 100 employees in a year, and we had all these ideas. And as we kept going through these things, what you'll find is that a lot of the things that we said, oh, we're never gonna do it that way, we're never gonna do that, we're gonna do it this way, almost all of those things are now how we do things. But we had to be willing to make that call and make that decision instead of just saying, nope, we said we were never gonna do that, and we aren't. We had to change. And because of that, we are growing and we are getting bigger and we are hiring people. We're not up to the 100 that we thought we would have, but that's part of the process, because taking it from your computer and your mind and putting it into reality are two different things. And what you will find is that in our own minds, in our own realities, in our own space, it's so simple. But once you start putting it out there, and now you've got taxes and you've got bills and you've got employees and you've got people showing up late for work and people getting sick, it changes your whole approach and it changes your ideas. And so it's always a learning process. I am always learning every day when I go into my office and I talk to people and I go, what if we change this? Or what would that work? And then you go, no, that's not gonna work. No, we just need to keep doing what we're doing. And these are things that you go through. So hopefully these 4 things help you out. And again, whether you've got a new business or an existing business that you're just stuck at that 4th stop of, wanting to give up and quit every day, go back through, take note of all of these 4 things that you have to be willing to do, and I promise things will start to look up for you. Now, if you need any help, please contact us at adventuretoprofit.com. Find out what it is that you aren't good at and let us help you improve your skills in those areas, and your success will start to come a whole lot easier. Also, be sure to check out our partners, metapulse.com. You can find out more about them down below. They are the go-to for tracking your statistics, training your employees, getting organized. They are what I use in all of my businesses, and I know that they'll be able to help you out as well. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Hit that thumbs up, and I'll see you next time.